All right, with me now is the president of the Education First Alliance, Sloan Rackmith. Sloan, thank you for joining us on the show. I want to ask you first, I mean, this is pretty almost unbelievable information. When people read this at first, they're like, is this really true? Like, are people actually transing their 2-year-olds? 2-year-olds can't even clearly talk. They're 3-year-olds, they're 4-year-olds. You found that this was happening at 3 university healthcare systems in North Carolina, Duke, UNC, and ECU. How did you even find this?
Well, thank you for having me on. I appreciate that. And you're right. It is a very unbelievable situation that we have here in North Carolina. So our organization, Education First Alliance, is made up of researchers, investigative journalists that have been doing this work, the nexus of education and healthcare, for the last 2.5 years. You've already reported on this. You know, they're coming for our children, right? So they're doing these things, bringing the psychiatrists into the class, using these surveys, et cetera. So we've been on this and on social emotional learning for very early on. So once we discovered that the clinics were doing trainings for teachers and principals on pronoun usage, the lack of the binary, et cetera, and moreover, how to refer them patients. That was our first tip off. We saw that they're generating referrals and using teachers. And we said, okay, let's check into this even more. And we discovered the first clinic was ECU, then UNC, and then Duke.
And really, 2, 3, and 4-year-olds? Not to sound like a skeptic here, because I believe in evil, and I've seen the evil that these people are perpetuating on our children, but do they advertise that they will see children this young? Are there actually toddlers being transed in North Carolina?
Well, they do advertise that. Duke, they've advertised this since 2015. It was right under our noses, and because it is so absolutely, patently, ludicrously unbelievable, no one raised an eyebrow. You know, ECU has actually put out there that, yes, we do. We're opening this new Pride clinic, and we know that 4-year-olds start having their identity, and it's for all ages. And then UNC has followed suit with this. And so we learned a little bit. We learned a lot, actually. And here's how we did our research. Prior statements, because these doctors, they're not just doctors. They're not your corner pediatrician. They're activists. So they want people to know this. They've been talking about this. So we're using their statements, which videos, testimony, insiders. So we've got a very robust network of whistleblowers on the inside of the clinic, and the websites of each of these 3 clinics and medical schools. And Liz, they're not just treating children. And I want to put this in perspective for everybody. We're talking about North Carolina's hospital system. That's UNC. 100 counties we have in North Carolina, they have access to all 100 counties. They don't just have access to the children. They've got access to the schools, and they're training medical school people, you know, doctors, whether it's a specialist, a psychologist, a therapist, and all the disciplines. And, you know, we're not looking at it correctly. They're activists. They're Marxists. They're the real deal. So they want to erase gender. They want to erase this concept they have of this binary. And they want to catch children before they've had sexual experiences, before they can even think of having children. That's what they're doing.